In this program, we have a function, calculate amount, which gets prices, which is a list, looks like this, and goes through the prices, sums it up, and save it to an amount variable, and returns with it. When we call this function, we call it with this list, saves the result to this result variable, and print it. Let's see whether it works. Yes, it gives us 300. Variable scope is a part of your program where the variable is accessible. Function parameters, like this prices parameter, and function variables, like this amount variable, are not accessible outside of the function. Outside of the function code block, prices and amount have local scope in this calculate amount function. So these are accessible inside the function, but not outside of the function. Let's see what happens if I try to access these outside of the function. I just print out prices and amount, or I try to, because Visual Studio said undefined variable prices and undefined variable amount. So it really doesn't work. Lifetime of the amount variable starts when Python processes the variable declaration line, this one, and ends when the calculate amount function finishes, right here. So amount variable and prices function parameter do not exist outside of the function. I can rename the result variable to amount variable outside of the function's code block. And it still works. This is a brand new amount variable because it has a different scope than the function's amount variable. This amount variable exists in the global scope. The other one exists in the function's local scope. So you can have the same variable names in different scopes. You can access global variables inside the function, but you can only read it and you can't modify it by default. Now I will create two extra prices, one in the global scope and another one in the function's local scope. This one in the global scope will have value 10, but this one will have 20. And I will print this extra price out to the console just before the amount value. All right, so this is the extra price value in the global scope, and this is the amount variable. Now I will add this extra price to the amount inside the function. So now you should see 320. If I remove or comment out this extra price, my code still works. And it is 310. And that is because this extra price in the function's scope will be this extra price from the local scope. So you can access global variables in the global scope inside the functions in the local scope. But by default, you can only read it. You can't change it. If you'd like to change it, you need to use the global keyword. And this needs to be a declaration, so without an assignment. Here I can assign 20 to it. And now this variable in the global scope should have value 20. So we just changed our global scoped variable value. But in general, you should not use globals in your programs because, as you can see, you can change the value of the global scope variables and it can cause pretty annoying situations. That's all for now. I hope I will see you in the next lesson.